Hi everyone, and welcome back to Kimbo's Comfort Kitchen. And today we are going to do bouillabaisse, or Kimbo's bouillabaisse, or fish stew, or cioppino. The reason I call it Kimbo's is because there's just so many different variations of what you can do with a bouillabaisse over the years. Originally, bouillabaisse was a fish stew that was a result of fish restaurant owners going down to the fishmongers and trying to take the worst of whatever was leftovers. That's right, it's about leftovers. Over the years, of course, it's been more refined, the same with cioppino and other fish stews. But there's a lot of different ways to make this. The way I'm making it today is based on the traditional method out of Marseille, but there are some variations in it, but I've stuck to most of the grassroots ingredients and methods. So as I say, it's all about the base. When you make this base, you can add afterwards, you can add what other fish you like. You can go to market and find the ones that are to your tasting, your liking, your taste buds, make nom 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 nom, all that kind of stuff, and then basically put it together the way you like. All right, so let's get started and make some bouillabaisse. So let's get started. I have put in some avocado oil and some butter, and we are going to sweat these ingredients. To start with, I've got some onions. I like to use sweet onions. You don't have to. And some carrots. As always, I've got all the amounts on my website. And after carrots, I've got some fennel, some celery, and some leeks. And it's all about the base, as they say. Turn it down just a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to add a little bit more butter. Because you know what? You can never have too much butter. And I'm also going to add some kosher salt at this point. Some people say, well, you can add it later or whatever, you don't want to over salt it, but the fact of the matter is when you're actually seasoning as you cook, it makes a big difference. It gets incorporated into everything a lot better. And I'm not a big advocate of using too much salt, but you need some for the flavor. So we're going to let that settle for a bit and we'll be back. Alright, so we've sweated this down a bit. Now we're going to add some fish stock. Now you can make your own, but it's a real pain in the ass as far as I'm concerned. When I could go down to my market and get it, and I've got some white wine, which I'm adding, and I'm putting in some, oops, that was good, putting in some garlic, and now I'm going to throw in a bunch of prawn heads and a couple of fish heads. One is a pompano, and this one here is a sea perch. And a lot of people like to put fresh diced tomatoes in. Actually, I prefer to use canned diced because I know they're fully ripe. And I'm going to throw some tomato paste in at the same time. And this is the beginning of a base. Okay, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm just brought this up to a simmer, and I've got some smoked paprika, a couple of bay leaves, and now I have star of the show, well, one of the stars, which is Saffron, which is from the crocus family. Super high work load to take this. They spread them out on sheets as they pull these flowers off at dawn and take these little stems off one at a time on these big blankets. So it's a little bit work intensive, labor intensive. That, and then I'm going to put some Pernod, which is a French licorice drink, or aperitif, I guess. And I'm going to add another. I've got this tray here is 2 grams. I'm going to put an entire gram in. You can see how specific I am. And I'm now going to let this come to a boil, and I'm going to put it on simmer and cover for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'll know better when I get closer to at the 45-minute mark. I'll check it and we'll see what is it. But this is the base. This is how it gets started. Oh crap, I forgot one minor detail. Just hold on a second. I don't really want the pith. Just hold on a second. Just a minute. And I'm now putting in some orange peel. There we go. Okay, so we'll come back when we've let this simmer for, as I said, between 45 minutes and an hour. All right, so I decided to do the full hour. I tasted it as it went along, and I couldn't believe how awesome this was developing. So now I'm going to pull out, I'm going to leave the prawns in, but I'm going to pull out the big pieces of fish. I'm leaving some of the bones, believe it or not. You can see a lot of that has dissipated. And I'm going to get rid of the bay leaves and basically sift out all of the miscellaneous parts, and then I'm going to put it into a food processor. Okay, so we've done an hour of saute, and I've taken the fish heads out, or what's left of them, but I'm leaving the prawn heads in. I know, ew, but you know what? It's going to be amazing. Bay leaves are gone, orange peels are gone. Now it's just the basic sauce, and it's hot, so don't fill this up very high because you'll end up with it all over the place, just like a blender. Like that. Yeah, that worked well. It's still too hot. I'm going to use, instead of my hand, there's a better idea. And I'm going to blend this. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I'm going to blend this now for about 3-4 minutes, and then I'm going to do the same thing with all of it, or 75% of it, and we'll be back. Okay, this is after about 2 minutes, and every once in a while it still hits a bone, and but don't be alarmed, that's just part of the process, no pun intended, like that. So I'm going to do. And if it does that, then I just stop it for a minute. Because I want this to be really smooth. It's a bit tedious, but you know what? At the end, it's really worth it. So I'm going to finish doing all of this and be back again. Okay, so after all of that, I'm now going to pour this into a strainer, and this is just a portion of it, and I am going to press this in, and we're going to leave all the other bits behind. So you get the idea. I'm going to do that with the entire stock. I'm going to leave some juice behind at the very end, but this is basically what you end up with. Is this stuff down here, which is the golden liquid, as it were. All right, so here's what's left after I strained everything off. Not a lot, as you can see, but I reserved the basic juice and strained that out. And we can see the massacre that's taking place here, but it's all going to work out well. Okay, so I'm going to take that and that, put it together, and then we're going to start to actually do the poach. Okay, so now we get down to the basics. It's been a long journey here, but you know what? I'm going to put some pompano in. I've got the heat on, and everything cooks at a little bit different time. So as I put that in, it's going to chill it down a bit. And I've got some beautiful cod, which doesn't take very long. That comes in after. Still got the heat on. There we go. You can't smell this broth, but it's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to put in clams and mussels. And of course, we know that if these don't open up, you don't eat them. Just set them aside. I bought them live at the market. And now I'm putting the prawns in. Without the head, of course, but shell on. And we're going to let this come to a boil, and we'll know when everything's done, when you can see the color and when the mussels and clams open. I should put one more piece of cod in. Just cuz. And we're gonna let that sit for a minute and we'll be right back. All right, so the cod is done first. And I'm gonna pull that out so it's still nice and tender. Look at that, just flakes. See that light color? That is the saffron. And I'm going to leave them for now. Oh yeah, I guess I could have put a little bit more cod in, but you know what? I'm gonna save that for Linda, because she loves the cod. You can start to see the shells starting to open up now. Everything's coming together exactly the way we want. And the pompano, beautiful. And now I should tell you that I seared some beautiful Digby scallops, and I'm going to let them finish last. And they will absorb, again, all of that broth. I like the pompano, which is a fun part. You You can pick what you want. Look at those clams. They're ready now. The trick is not to overcook everything. There, see? Oh yeah. That's brilliant. So let's do this. The mussels are perfect, the clams are perfect. That one's not so perfect. Because you know, if you overcook your shellfish, your mollusks, they have a tendency to get really rubbery. Same with your prawns. I'm gonna leave this in the last minute. We'll wait and see what happens with that one. But you get the idea. So I'm gonna finish plating that. So that's how you make bouillabaisse. It's, like I said, it's up to you what you want to put into it. You can put various different ingredients in. I know it looks a little weird when you put the fish heads in, but trust me, it adds to the depth of the flavor. And you strain it all out anyway. And the same with the prawns. Make sure you blend it well. And make sure that you get all the lumps and everything and all that goodness going in it. And of course, I like to serve it with a side with a baguette. There's lots of different breads and things like that. Use your own imagination what you want to do on the side. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you soon.